just 9. The amazing thing is that Fermat proved this will work however big the prime number is. Provided it has remainder 1 on division by 4, you can always read that number as 2 square numbers added together. What I love about this sort of day is the playfulness of mathematics. And Fermat certainly enjoyed playing around with numbers. He loved looking for patterns in numbers. And then the puzzle side of mathematics. He wanted to prove that these patterns would be there forever. But as well as being the basis for fun and games in the years to come, Fermat's mathematics would have some very serious applications. One of his theorems, his little theorem, is the basis of the codes that protect our credit cards on the internet. The technology we now rely on today all comes from the scribblings of a 17th century mathematician. But the usefulness of Fermat's mathematics is nothing compared to that of our next great mathematician. And he comes not from France at all, but from its great rival. In the 17th century, Britain was emerging as a world power. Its expansion and ambitions required new methods of measurement and computation, and that gave a great boost to mathematics. The university towns of Oxford and Cambridge were churning out mathematicians who were in great demand, and the greatest of them was Isaac Newton. I'm here in Grantham, where Isaac Newton grew up, and they're very proud of him here. A wonderful statue to him. They've even got a shopping centre, the Isaac Newton Shopping Centre, with a nice Apple logo up there. There's a school where he went to, which has got a nice blue plaque, and there's a museum over here in the town hall, although actually one of the other famous residents here, Margaret Thatcher, has got as big a display as Isaac Newton. In fact, the Thatcher cups are sold out, and there's loads of Newton ones still left, so I thought I would support mathematics by buying a Newton cup. And Newton's maths does need supporting. Newton's obviously very famous around here. Do you know what he's famous for?
No. Discovering gravity.
Gravity.
Gravity, yes.
Gravity?
That would be all right.
Yeah.
Gravity.
Well, that pretty much summed it up. If people know about Newton's work at all, it is his physics, his laws of gravity and motion, not his mathematics. You're in a rush, okay. Acceleration, you see. 8 miles south of Grantham, in the village of Wolseley, where Newton was born, I met up with someone who does share my passion for his mathematics.
This is the house.
Oh, wow. Jackie Steddle is a Newton fan, and more than willing to show me around the house where Newton was brought up.
So here is the, well, you might call it the dining room. I'm sure they didn't call that, but the room where they ate next to the kitchen. And of course, there would have been a huge fire.
Yes, God, I wish it was there now. His father was an illiterate farmer, but he died shortly before Newton was born. Otherwise, the young Isaac's fate might have been very different.
And here's his room.
Oh, okay, wow.
Yes,
Oh, they preserved it really nicely. It's got a real feel of going back in time.
It does, yes.
I can see he's as scruffy as I am. Look at the state of that bed. That's how I think I left my bed. Newton hated his stepfather, but it was this man who ensured he became a mathematician rather than a sheep farmer.
I don't think he was particularly remarkable as a child.
Okay, so it's hopeful those kids out there.
Yes, I think he had a sort of average school report. He had very few close friends. I don't feel he's someone I particularly wanted to meet. But I do love his mathematics. It's wonderful.
Newton came back to Lincolnshire from Cambridge during the Great Plague of 1665, when he was just 22 years old. In 2 miraculous years here, he developed a new theory of light, discovered gravitation, and scribbled out a revolutionary approach to maths, the calculus. It works like this. I'm going to accelerate this car from 0 to 60 as quickly as I can. Now, the speedometer is showing me that the speed's changing all the time, but this is only an average speed. How can I tell precisely what my speed is at any particular instant? Here's how. As the car races along the road, we can draw a graph above the road
The height above each point in the road records how long it took the car to get to that point. I can calculate the average speed between 2 points A and B on my journey by recording the distance travelled and dividing by the time it took to get between these 2 points. But what about the precise speed at the first point A? If I move point B closer and closer to the first point, I take a smaller and smaller window of time, and the speed gets closer and closer to the true value. But eventually, it looks like I have to calculate 0 divided by 0. The calculus allows us to make sense of this calculation. It enables us to work out the exact speed and also the precise distance travelled at any moment in time.
I mean, it does make sense of things which we take for granted so much. I mean, things that, if I drop this apple,
Its distance is changing and its speed is changing, and calculus can deal with all of that.
which is quite in contrast to the Greeks, and Greece
Yes.
is a very static
It's static,
geometry.
yes. Yes, it is.
And here we see, so I mean, the calculus is used by every engineer, physicist,
Absolutely,
because
yes.
it can describe the
Yes,
movement.
yes, and it's the only way really you can deal with the mathematics of motion and change.
There's a lot of mathematics in this course.
Newton's calculus enables us to really understand the changing world, the orbits of planets, the motions of fluids. Through the power of the calculus, we have a way of describing with mathematical precision the complex, ever-changing natural world. But it would take 200 years to realise its full potential. Newton himself decided not to publish, but just to circulate his thoughts among friends. His reputation, though, gradually spread. He became a professor, an MP, and then warden of the Royal Mint here in the City of London.
On his regular trips to the Royal Society from the Royal Mint, he preferred to think about theology and alchemy rather than mathematics. Developing the calculus just got crowded out by all his other interests, until he heard about a rival.
A rival who was also a member of the Royal Society, and who came up with exactly the same idea as him: Gottfried Leibniz. Every word Leibniz wrote has been preserved and catalogued in his hometown of Hanover in northern Germany. His actual manuscripts are kept under lock and key, particularly the manuscript which shows how Leibniz also discovered the miracle of calculus shortly after Newton.
What age was he when he wrote?
He was 29 years old, and at the time, within 2 months, he developed differential calculus and integral calculus.
Really, 2 months. So it's fast and
Yeah.
furious
When it comes, it's,
yeah.
There's a little scrap of paper over here. What's that one?
Yeah,
Is that a letter or?
that's a small manuscript, and Leibniz notes. Sometimes it happens that in the morning, lying in the bed, I have so many ideas that it takes the whole morning, and sometimes even longer, to note all these ideas and bring them to paper.
Right. No, I suppose that's
And suppose that he liked to lie in the bed in the morning, actually mathematician.
Yeah. Spends his time thinking in bed. I see you've got some paintings
Yeah.
down here. So this is what he looked like.
Even though he didn't become quite the 17th century celebrity that Newton did, it wasn't such a bad life. Leibniz worked for the royal family of Hanover and travelled around Europe representing their interests. This gave him plenty of time to indulge in his favourite intellectual pastimes, which were wide even for the time. He devised a plan for reunifying the Protestant and Roman Catholic churches, a proposal for France to conquer Egypt, and contributions to philosophy and logic which are still highly rated today.
He wrote all these letters. I mean, that's absolutely extraordinary.
Yeah.
He must have claimed himself. I can't believe there was just one Leibniz.
But Leibniz was not just a man of words. He was also one of the first people to invent practical calculating machines that worked on the binary system, true forerunners of the computer. 300 years later, the engineering department at Leibniz University here in Hanover have put them together following